is everyone's favorite genocidal nation, but apparently it is. And we're going to be talking about how Israel is just murdering everyone, committing genocides, atrocities, and how the West just loves to fund them anyways. We're going to start off talking about how they're just murdering Catholics for no reason, and then in some instances they just even pretend like Catholics don't exist in Palestine. So this article from Politico that Arnaud Bertrand is talking about goes into detail about how the Catholic Relief Services, the leading U.S. Catholic humanitarian agency, got the U.S. Congress to officially send GPS coordinates of 4 Catholic sites, churches, and convents in Gaza that shouldn't be struck. Oh no, that's the first sign that you should be worried, because you just gave them GPS coordinates of where living beings are within Gaza, and so you know the Israelis are going to murder them because they're demonic forces. So let's see. Israel confirmed receiving the list, but 2 of the sites were still hit by the IDF, a church and a convent, shelled by IDF tanks and fired at by IDF snipers who killed a mother and her daughter harboring in the church, an act the Pope later qualified as terrorism. So the Pope is calling them terrorists. I'm actually just surprised by the incompetence of the IDF. They've only murdered people at 2 of the sites so far. There are still 2 sites left. Maybe they're saving them for later. Maybe it's like leftovers for them. I don't know. These very demonic forces of the IDF. Let's see what else they have to say here. So this, I read the original article paper talking about this, and I think he even posted down below. But Jake Shields here says, today the UN condemned Israel for war crimes. Get this. Israel raided a house with 11 families. They separated the men from the women and children and made them watch as they execute all the fathers. Afterwards, they threw grenades at the women and children. So yes, this is something the United Nations Human Rights Watch has actually talked about. They have it posted right here about the unlawful killing. So that's Israel for you. That is how they conduct themselves in the 21st century. That is what they're allowed to get away with. So let's see what else. Oh, this is a historical example of Israel doing something that is typically considered blood libel. You're not allowed to say it, but they have actual documentation showing they do this. So Jake Shields here is saying, when Jewish refugees decided they were going to steal the land in Palestine, they poisoned the wells, killing many and making thousands sick. So the idea of poisoning the wells, it's a saying that we typically use in modern times. It's considered blood libel. It's considered anti-Semitic to say it, but there's actual documentation of it that they've done this. Okay, so this is a tactic that has been used many times over the years, including recently in West Bank. So the documents say, place the material in the wells. Documents point to Israeli Army's 1948 biological warfare. For decades, rumors and testimonies swirled about Jewish troops sent to poison wells in Arab villages. Now researchers have located official documentation of the cast thy bread operation. What do you do with this? It's like everything that the Zionists have told you is blood libel and anti-Semitic has turned out to be true. We have documentation of it. They tell us in the news media how they're committing ethnic cleansing. They tell us they're going to commit genocide. And they say all these things. And for some reason, that's not really tilted the numbers when it comes to the indoctrinated older Americans when it comes to Israel. Like younger Americans, for some good reasons and some bad reasons, they're very hostile towards Israel. The good reasons are things like this. You should be hostile towards people who are poisoning wells. Yeah, I think that's completely legitimate to be hostile towards people like that. Now, the bad thing is a lot of younger people are hostile towards Israel because they view them as white people who are oppressors. And in some cases, there are examples of white people who are oppressors, but they have a general hostility towards white people, viewing them all as oppressors because of the indoctrination that's gone on in the education system, which, again, was done by Zionists. It was done by the Frankfurt School, who were Zionists. And so the repercussions of these Zionist actions tainting the education system has come around and harmed them, made it so they harm themselves in return for their indoctrination of the education system in America. So again, some good reasons, some bad reasons the younger generations are hostile towards Israel. But the older generations just don't care. This has not moved the needle at all when it comes to, do they support Israel or not? Literally, Israel can say, we're going to flatten Gaza. We like war crimes, Israelis say. They say they want to wipe out all the people of Gaza, despite the fact that over half the population are children. They call them Amalek, meaning you wipe out everyone, elderly, young people, women, men, everyone. And it does not persuade the average boomer American. I've been kind of surprised by this to a certain extent. I mean, I knew that a lot of people were NPCs, and so nothing would wake them up. See, I feel like I knew this on an intellectual level, but on an emotional level, I thought if Israel just came out and said they were committing war crimes, committing genocide, I thought that would move people. But a lot of people truly are just NPCs. Like I've never thought I would see this in my lifetime, where people could hear things like this, hear about children being slaughtered, poisoning wells, which we have official documentation of now. I never thought I would hear things like this, and the baby boomer generation in particular would just be like, yeah, we still support them. We're going to send a lot of our money over to them. Like, I don't know. Oh, and here we have another example here. This person, they have a number of different articles on this, but this is, I can't remember who this is exactly, but he's an official, if I remember correctly. Where does it say who he is? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's either an official for the Israeli government or a journalist, but they've been saying this nonstop. But this person here is saying, I am for the war crimes. I am unable to sleep if I do not see houses being destroyed in Gaza. So that is really an official position. They've made it very clear that's an official position of the Israeli government. And when you look at the numbers, when you say, oh, the Israeli government does not represent the people, when you look at the number of people who think the Israeli occupation force is using proper amounts of force, using too much force or not enough force, it's only like 2% of the population who thinks that they're using too much force. Okay, so the rest of the population, aside from that 2%, actually believes that they should be doing more or they're doing enough when it comes, like they're genociding populations. They're talking about it overtly, and only 2% of the population are like, yeah, that's actually bad. We should not do that. Okay, so this is an overwhelming number of Israelis, Zionists, who are supporting what's going on right now. They are saying, I am for the war crimes. They're actively saying that. Okay. So, I mean, I have another Twitter thread by Propaganda & Co. I'm going to go over later, but I mean, we have here him talking about how the Israeli government is stating they are willing to sacrifice the remaining hostages. And remember, recently, there were 3 hostages that were, they're Israelis. They had no shirts on. They were waving a white flag. And the Israeli occupation force murdered them. And that should tell you something about the Israeli occupation force, because these people were speaking Hebrew. They had no opportunity to have bombs on them because they had no shirts on. They were waving a white flag. Okay, these were, by every instance, it was war crimes to attack them. Okay, whether they're Israelis or whether they're Palestinians. What this tells us is we never hear about this in the media when it happens to Palestinians, but it very clearly happens to Palestinians if they're willing to shoot their own hostages, their own Israelis who are hostage. Okay, these were Israeli hostages who escaped and were trying to get back to their homeland, and the military of their homeland murdered them. Okay, I feel like I'm living in an alternate reality where people don't understand logic anymore. Like, I mean, I guess it's because it's not taught in school. Like, people just don't have any critical thinking capacity, but this is abhorrent. This is insane. It's the world we live in is evil. Nothing has made me believe in satanic forces being real more than what's going on right now in Israel. It's shocking. And the most shocking part is the amount of baby boomers who are still supporting Israel. But anyways, that is what I'll leave you with today. If you found this video to be informative, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. Please subscribe to our channel for more content on YouTube and Rumble. Please tell a friend about our channel. We are being suppressed, so any help getting the word out there for our channel does help us. I just recently created a new intro, a new outro that I'm going to be adding onto videos sometime in the future. I have a lot of things planned for the future, so we are improving. We appreciate you sticking with us throughout all of this. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, critiques, please leave that in the comment box below. I do read all of them, and I do respond when it seems necessary. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.